What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode review of Hawkeye. Today is the season finale of the show, which is episode 6, titled So This Is Christmas. So, yes, we're finally at the end of the show. This is definitely a big episode, a lot of fun action, a lot of interesting stuff happens here, and of course, the final big return of Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. So, yeah, let's dive into this episode. So, this has been the longest episode of the show. Like, most of the episodes have been about 40-some minutes long. It's about the length of a lot of regular TV show episodes. This one was about 59 minutes long, so basically an hour long. It was the longest episode of the show. And, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of action mostly. Of course, they're wrapping up the show, so it's mostly a big action kind of thing. There was a lot of other good moments throughout the episode that was story and character based, so that was all pretty cool. I guess to start off, I'm not sure where to begin right now. But I guess first thing, one thing else, how to start off the bat is go on and talk about Kingpin's return, which was great. Immediately, that's the first thing we see when the episode starts. We see him just walk into the same room that he was meeting with Eleanor, Kate's mom, last episode. And in that scene, he just looks great. Immediately, D'Onofrio just immediately slips back into the role, he didn't leave at all. The mannerism and the intimidation of him, it's all still there. It's all great, and he looks much more comic accurate. I mean, he was by the Daryl show by season 3, he was wearing a lot more white and looked a bit more accurate. Now there's a lot more actually to the way he looks, because now he, of course, wears only white jackets, but also he has purple pants and a cane, all very similar to how he dressed in the comics, or if you've seen the 90s cartoon series of Spider-Man, he dresses like that too. So, all great. I'll see him interact with Eleanor and also Kazi, just seeing how he's, and almost any second he's ready to snap, just very much like the Kingpin from the Netflix show, and it's great. There's nothing really in the show. There's nothing that indicates whether or not this is meant to be the same Kingpin, though, from the Netflix show, which is, a little sad. I mean, hopefully they'll address that soon. I mean, at most I'll say that he has the same cufflinks that look identical to the ones he had in Daredevil, which, of course, if you recall in that show, those cufflinks were significant to him because they were his father's that he, murdered. So, I mean, and they look exactly identical, so, I mean, it's possible they could just carry that plot point or his origin over here and such, so I don't know, I'm still believing that they're the same character. Even D'Onofrio, he said later on just that his approach to the character was that he was told to treat it like it was the same character, and he even says that he played it exactly like if it was the character. So to him, from his words, it's meant to be the same version that we saw. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see from official word from Marvel. I assume maybe they'll probably give it a little bit after, wait for this show to have been out for a little bit, the final episode has been out for a little bit, let everyone be fully aware that, yes, this Kingpin is back, and then maybe they'll address it. Hopefully, I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of great stuff. Of course, we see Clint and Kate, they're infiltrating Eleanor's party because now Kingpin, well, we learned actually a lot about Eleanor. We learned that, she killed Armand, so Jack was completely a red herring. She framed him entirely and such. And we learned that, Kate's father was actually in a lot of debt to Kingpin back in the day, so Eleanor's been working that off since he died, so, that's interesting. I honestly thought that there'd be some reveal that maybe her father wasn't dead, because the way the circumstances went in the first episode showing how he died, but we never saw a body or him actually die, I felt a little suspicious. I'm not sure what that was about. I really thought there'd be some kind of reveal that he wasn't dead, but there's none of that, so I mean, maybe in a future thing he could come back. I'm not really sure. I don't know. It just still seemed very weird the first episode how it very much seemed like he possibly might not have been dead. I don't know. It's very kind of odd. And Eleanor is not much. Of course, she threatens Kingpin and says how I have all these documents on our meeting and such, and I'm done. I'm out of this stuff. She doesn't want to work with him anymore. She's paid her debt and blah 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 and whatever. Of course, Kingpin doesn't take that lightly and he's gonna go kill her. So Clint and Kate have to infiltrate her little Christmas party down by Rockefeller Center to save her, along with also all their LARPing buddies Grills and them, which I thought that was kind of cool. I didn't expect to see all of them actually infiltrate the party and be pretend to be waiters. So I thought that was cool seeing them help out and such. So that was pretty awesome. And Clint and Kate, they're pretty great in this episode still. Clint also, when Kate tells Clint that you should just leave, go back to your home to your family, you still have time to go there and such, because now she's saying now this is all my problem now with my mom and Kingpin, but Clint's saying no, you're my partner, I'm not leaving you. So he finally calls her his partner, so that's a great moment there. So they're now officially partners. And they get ready. They get their new costume. We finally see them properly in the show. Of course, in the marketing, they were in the posters and whatnot. But they look pretty great. The costumes, of course. Like Clint, he wears the costume he's had in the comics since the 2012 Avengers film. I feel like the purple on his suit could have been maybe a bit brighter in some areas, because when he's on the ice rink after the tree fell, I don't know, the purple seemed a little bit too dark in the contrast of that. I'm not really sure. Like Kate's looked more brighter than that. I don't know. Just the way it contrasted the purple didn't look too bright. So maybe they could make it a little bit more brighter in future things. That's my thought, at least. And they make some more trick arrows. So a lot of insane trick arrows that utilize in this. Like there's a what's the name of the thing now? God. There's an airbag arrow, a gas arrow, an acid arrow, a magnet arrow, an arrow a freeze arrow, an arrow that has rocks attached to it, so it will attach onto you and just launch you up in the air and carry you. More Pimtech arrows, which they shrink a truck full of some of the Tracksuit Mafia guys, and then they get swooped away by an owl, so they're dead. And that's not pretty. And I learned also that after the fact, what owls do to their prey. They're screwed. They're very screwed. That's not a pleasant way to die. And even then, it's also, even if there was an owl, they'd still be screwed because they don't have a protective suit on them when they shrunk. So I don't know. So they're screwed either way. Even Clint says how after Kate says, "What do we do with them now?" He's like, "I don't know. I should have probably asked Scott that one time." So yeah, either way they would have been screwed because they got struck down, would have probably died or gone insane, whatever it was, if you don't have a protection suit. But, a lot of great use of the trick arrows. The fight sequence in the Rockefeller Center when they crashed that tree down, which was nuts. It was a pretty great. The owl also in the tree, apparently I learned that was a reference to the real world. Apparently, last year, there was actually an owl found in the tree in New York for real. So that's an interesting thing I learned there. But yeah, so I think that's all. That whole scene was pretty cool, seeing Clint and Kate work together in fights with their costumes on. It was all pretty cool. There's also an arrow, a nail arrow that they shot and just fired a bunch of nails at, which I'm like, geez, it's what I'm wondering. I'm not sure if they're killing people in that sequence. I mean, certainly they unintentionally made those bad guys they shrunk die, but what about some of the other ones? Did the nails kill anyone? There's an explosion. I don't know. That's why I'm finding it weird how there's this thing how Clint says, I'm a bad guy for stuff I did back when I was Ronin. I'm like, aren't you killing people still here too? So I don't quite understand some of the logic behind where the lines. I mentioned in the last review, where's the line draw here? I don't know. But that whole sequence was still pretty great, and it's a funny scene where he shoots an arrow at Kazi and two other tracksuit guys, and it splits off into 3 arrows and 2 hits the 2 other tracksuit guys, but doesn't hit Kazi. He dodges, and Kazi just shouts back "Hey, nice shot," because it missed him, and Clint's just "Yeah, no shit, it was a nice shot," which I thought that was quite funny. But yeah, there's also some fun stuff with Kate and Elena. They're still, their chemistry, the way they work out each other is still very funny and very great. Just down I like how even last episode, Elena kind of threatened Kate saying, "Don't get in my way again or I will hurt you or whatever." But even here, she really was not trying to hurt Kate a lot at all. She was really holding back. Even when they're in the elevator, when Kate keeps trying to press different elevator buttons, she keeps just slapping her hand away very gently and such. And their fights they had were very, they weren't that violent. Honestly, they were very fine. Even afterwards, Yelena starts complimenting Kate on her moves, and Kate's yeah, thanks, and she's no, stop making me like you. Which I don't know, that was all very fun. I like seeing them interact with each other. So hopefully we'll see them interacting more in some future Marvel projects, I don't know, Young Avengers thing or something else. Who knows what we'll see them next in together. But that was all great. That scene was also in the elevator where she just pressed little buttons and that just reminded me of Buddy from Elf when he just pressed all the buttons in that one scene. That was funny. Yeah, of course, we see Elena fight, Clint, which is a very great sequence, seeing them fight. And it's a really great sequence overall, just the emotional thing at the end where, Clint has to keep trying to convince her that, he didn't kill Natasha. And at the end when he does the whistle, because Natasha told Clint about the secret whistle that her and Elena had. It was also a really, sad, emotional scene. Especially, I think, Florence Pugh really nailed the emotional stuff. When you hear her talking about, Natasha and how Clint got so much time to spend with her, and how, Yelena, loved her so much. So, it's very sad, because honestly, yeah, they didn't spend much time together. Once they were reunited after Black Widow, Natasha left, and then she was going off to do Infinity War, and then Yelena was blipped for, 5 years, so... It's also really sad sequence. Like just saying, like Florence Pugh really nailed every line you heard her say. It was like you could hear the emotional weight behind it. And even Clint, like he kind of starts crying also too, saying how like he misses her a lot too. And I thought there honestly was gonna be like maybe a embracing hug between the two of them at one point, but there wasn't. But still, it was a very great emotional scene. What I thought was weird though was that when he was telling her at first what actually happened to Natasha, he says, "You wouldn't believe it if I told you the whole thing, but let me tell you that she sacrificed herself to make sure that everyone else came back." And I remember thinking that's kind of weird. I'm like, why wouldn't she believe you? Like if you told her like. I mean, like, if this was the real world, like, a more realistic world, I bet, like, yeah, it would sound weird saying, yeah, we were on this alien planet, and this Russian red guy was, like, telling us, one of you have to jump off this cliff to get a stone. Like, it sounds silly, but, like, in this world full of, like, gods, monsters, magicians, and aliens, like, nothing would sound weird in the slightest at this point. Like, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Like, I feel like he could have explained that. I feel like she would have been like, okay, I understood that. I don't know, that's kind of odd. But, you know, it's nothing. Like, also with Jack. Jack, like, of course, he ends up, of course, like I said, he ends up being a red herring. He wasn't a villain at all. And by the end, it's very weird how they kind of just handle him. Like, he's just out of jail. I mean, of course, he was framed, so none of the charges stuck, but, like, he gets out of jail very easily and shows up to Eleanor's party with, like, just carrying a sword, which I thought was, like, funny. And, like, how do you walk around with just a sword? Like, I don't know, it's weird. And, like, I don't know, in the end of it, he ended up being a good guy, of course, actually helps and fights off some of the tracksuit guys, so. But, you know, it was weird. He kind of ended up being, like, I don't really know how to describe it, just by the end of the episode, it was like, alright, I feel like not much was done with Jack by the very end. It's like, okay, just, I don't know, it's very weird. I don't know how to describe it, just by the end, it's kind of just like, I'm a good guy, I'm fighting these guys, and he's kind of goofy. He really is goofy and silly that he salvaged in prior episodes, like, but, yeah. Honestly, I thought at one point he was maybe going to die when he said he had found blood on his tie, but no, he's fine, so. Yeah, by the end, definitely, I don't know, it just didn't feel like there was quite something complete with Jack in the story. I don't know, I can't really describe it, I just feel like there was something a little bit missing with him there, so, I don't know. And the LARPers also, Grills and them, I forgot the other's name, I don't know if they said them, but, you know, when they start trying to, like, help evacuate the people from Rockefeller after they got out of the building, you know, no one's listening to them, so they realize, alright guys, we're trained professionals, but, like, unfortunately we need to do something else to get their attention, so they put on their LARPing gear to be superheroes, pretend to be them. Which, like, is funny, but also sad that, like, you know, they're not gonna listen, like, or firefighters and cops, like, clearly they're not willing to listen to a superhero at this point, basically. Which, that's sad for them, like, that's this point in this world where, like, just only superheroes will get them to listen, so, that was sad. And we also get a great fight with Kate versus Kingman to try and stop him from killing Eleanor. Kingpin overall, like, he was much more just brutal and much more, I mean, not more brutal, but he seemed much more powerful. Like, it's kind of nuts. He ripped a car door off like it was nothing. It was kind of nuts. And he wore, like, outfits also from a Spider-Man comic, which I find kind of like funny. Like, it kind of made him look like the 7th Doctor from Doctor Who to me. That's what I kind of felt. And, you know, Kate, she shoots an arrow at him that he just kind of knocks off. Like, it hits him, like, in the sternum, but, like, he knocks off like nothing. He probably has, like plating in the suit. 'Cause I remember in the Daredevil show, he had a lot of, like, he had that character, Melvin, like, put, like, caviar and all that kind of stuff in his clothing so it protects him more from, like, knives and stuff. So I'm pretty sure that's what that was, probably. But he gets hit by a car by Eleanor, and Kate's still struggling to fight him. Like, she's really, as well trained as she is, like, Kingman's just a brutish fighter who just knocks her around. Like, she cannot do, like, she was not holding her own that well. But she was, and give her no credit for that, but, like, she was not doing well, like, she was just getting her butt kicked very easily. But she was still holding her own very well, and then she does the move that Clint taught where she flicks one of his cufflinks, and managed to activate some of her arrows, because he snapped all her arrows, and she activates the one labeled very dangerous. They hinted at earlier in episode 3, and it's basically just another explosion, but, like, I guess it's a much more powerful explosion. I'm not really sure what made that more dangerous than the other explosion arrow that we had in episode 3. I don't know. But Kingpin gets knocked by that, and he gets knocked out. He still survives, so it's like, this guy can survive anything, which, you know, brings us to the ending. Of course, Maya, at this point, she's already, like, Kingpin already realizes, like, she talked to Kingpin and says how, I'm not going to focus on Ronan anymore, and so then she wants a few days off, and Kingpin's like, of course. But you know, he realizes she's betraying us. I know there's something up. So of course, and she comes out. She comes to the fight. And of course, I forgot to mention she fights Kazi, kills him. And it's sad because like she like trusts him and she was her friend. So that was sad. And yeah, then she came in like kind of just like slowly walks away from the explosion before the cops get there. And you know, Maya shows up and killed him, presumably is what a lot of people are assuming, because we see her pull a gun on him, and then the camera pans off before we see her actually fire the gun. We hear the gun go off and a thud, but yeah, I don't think, like, when I first saw it, it left a bit of a sour taste. It leaves a sour taste for me for the episode where, did you just kill Kingpin, like, after bringing him back, which I don't think he is, though. I don't think he is at all. Like, after the fact, I learned from a couple of videos that happened in the comic, a similar thing where Echo actually like shot Kingpin after she learned that he killed her parents and whatnot, and he survived that in the comics. He just lost his eyes, and I think it's like he later on got some special surgery that reconstructed eyes for him and such. So that does happen in the comics, and the fact that they don't show his body, don't show him getting shots, like because number one rule in anything for like comic books in movies or TV shows, no body, but probably not dead. So I don't think he's dead. Like, I know Marvel likes to mess around with expectations a lot of times. Some things like with the first manager of Ben Kingsley in Iron Man 3, or with Evan Peters and WandaVision, stuff that, you know, annoys people a little bit. But even, I mean, the Evan Peters one was very, very dumb and stupid and annoying, but like, I don't think they can be this dumb to like kill off Kingpin, especially D'Onofrio's Kingpin, after so much fan like support to bring him back, keep their little canon. And like, you brought him in, like you brought him specifically in for that because you know people love him. So I don't think they're that dumb to actually get rid of him that instantly. So like, no, I don't think he's dead. We have that Echo spinoff show coming out. I don't know, maybe 2023, because they might start shooting next year. I don't know when they're gonna start making that show, but we know it's coming. So we'll probably see him alive and well, just with his eyes, like one eye missing probably when that show comes around. So. Yeah, I definitely don't think he's dead. It's definitely a red herring. Just like, I don't know why do that in the first place. Why hints that he could be dead and such. And there's no after credit scene even with Kingpin. Reportedly, there was the after credit scene with Kingpin cut that featured Clint sending his Ronin sword to him, saying with a warning saying "Stay away from my family" and such. But they cut that, and so there's that. I don't know, but he's definitely not dead. I don't believe that at all. And yeah. The episode ends, and the show ends where like Clint and Kate go back to, you know, his farm, his family. At one point I thought there was going to be something up, because when they come back to the house, like, it's very calm and quiet. I thought, oh god, they're going to walk in, like, Kingpin or someone is like going to be at them, at his family's throats or whatnot. But no, it was fine. I don't know, it felt like that when they first showed up. You know, but it was nice that Kate showed up with also the dog. They finally named him Lucky, and, you know, that was cool. So I'm not sure if Kate's living with them now. I don't think she is, but maybe I don't know. I mean, her mom's in jail now because she got her arrested after saving her, and also her house got like burned down and such. So I mean, who knows? And plus, she's probably not living with Jack because she's not his. You know, she's not marrying her mom now. So yeah, I mean, maybe she could be living with Clint. I have no idea, but yeah. And they burn the Ronin costume, and then she starts thinking of some names that they could call her, like Lady Hawk or Hawkshot or like Miss Arrow or whatever she was calling herself. And like, Clint's like, those are all bad. And he's like, I got an idea. And that cuts to the logo of the show, which I guess that's like saying they're gonna be both called Hawkeye, which I think they were also both called Hawkeye in the comics. Yeah, I think so. Which I always find that weird. I'm like, how does that not be confusing? Like having two people both in the name of Hawkeye. It's kind of similar to how in a lot of comics now with Peter Parker and Miles Morales, and also in the PS4 game, like they're both called Spider-Man. I'm like, is that not confusing? Like, no one is confused by how you're both called Spider-Man. So I don't know. I assume they're definitely just gonna call her also Hawkeye. So yeah, I don't know. Or Hawkeye Jr. They'll call her Hawkeye Jr. One of that. And Clint also gives his wife back the Rolex watch. He said he found it in a black market auction in New York, which, you know, it felt almost kind of anticlimactic because they built up this watch a lot, saying there's something very important behind it, and they're hinting at it, you know, like Laura Barton had something to do with it, which he did. But it felt anticlimactic a bit, how it's just like, here, I found it in an auction, just okay. And we find there's a S.H.I.E.L.D. logo in the back of it with the number 19, which in the comics, the Agent 19 from S.H.I.E.L.D. is also known as Mockingbird, so the theories were right. So yeah, definitely that's a big thing saying that Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not canon, because if she's now a Mockingbird, then their Mockingbird's thrown out the window. I mean, they already said Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s not canon, so yeah. But that's interesting that they reveal. I think that's cool. I'd like to explore more of that. Maybe show her in a superhero costume one time. That'd be cool. So yeah, that was all great. And the show ends then also with a after credits scene, but it's mostly just cause it's a Christmas show. Like this episode came out just only a few days before Christmas, so the after credits scene's like happy holidays from Marvel Studios, and they give us then the full uncut version of the Rogers the Musical play, which is like just goofy and silly, but like I appreciate it. It's like it's meant to be a little holiday treat. Like here's this funny stupid thing. Like enjoy the holidays and whatnot. And that was fun. I enjoyed seeing that. It was very goofy. I thought something just fell. Nothing did. Yeah, that was fun and goofy. Although I still kind of wish there was like at least some after credits scene that teased something else at least. Like even with Loki's after credits scene, which was mostly just saying season 2 is coming. That's at least saying something. Like it's not an actual scene. It's just saying season 2 is coming. Like, there's nothing here implying what's next. Like I thought maybe Val would show up and like talk with Yelena about her failing her mission or whatnot, or something with Kingpin or anything. Like I don't know. Like I thought there should have been at least some after credit scene, like setting up the next thing, like whether or not the Echo spinoff or another season of Hawkeye or anything else. Like I don't know. I felt like there should have been at least something there that helps lead into something else. I don't know. But yeah, these like little things I had like some gripes about, and also the Kingman thing was a bit of a sour taste because like why? Cause now knowing that there's this very obvious thing in the comics that he does survive from, that they're implying it here. Even in the scene, like he says, family, we don't always see eye to eye, and then he gets shot, or you hear the gunshot go off. So they're definitely implying that's what it probably is. So I definitely don't think he's dead. Yeah, but now knowing that, even like, why frame it like that, where you try to imply he could be dead? Like, especially I've seen other people say casual like audience goers don't notice stuff. I mean, I didn't notice either, and I just never read that stuff in the comics or heard about it before. But like even still, I know it now, so I'm good. I'm good with that because I'm assuming that's what they're doing. But even casual audience goers are not going to know that, so they're just going to think to just kill him. So that's a little lame, I'll say. So it's a bit of a sour taste that how they executed that kind of. But the episode overall was still pretty great. Like an 8, I want to say 8 out of 10. Like there's a lot of great stuff I still like the minor stuff I complain about, like the kind of almost not quite satisfying stuff with Jack. Like kind of feel like there was something missing from his character in the final episode, and some minor like line of dialogue and such, all that kind of stuff. It was overall a really great episode. There's a lot of great action, like Clint and Kate teaming up, seeing Echo or Maya finally move past the Tracksuit Mafia and Kingpin and like get some revenge a little bit. I'm curious to see where that goes next in her series. So, yeah, overall, this was the whole show overall, honestly, ended up becoming my favorite of the Marvel shows right now. Like, Falcon Winter Soldier was my favorite. I ended up liking this one a little bit more. I really just like the dynamic with Kate and Clint, and like just a lot of fun Christmas action and stuff. And a lot of great stuff here. Like also like returning characters like Yelena and Kingpin. It's a lot of great stuff here I really enjoyed. So, yeah, definitely my favorite so far though of the MCU Disney Plus shows. Excuse me. So yeah, that was a really great show, honestly. Definitely a great, like, just superhero show, but also holiday show. There's a lot of fun stuff to it. Just there's a really fun, sweet show to have a lot of good heart to it. I'm hopeful we get season 2, because there's a lot of potential for that. Clint, he's still here. Like, I feel like they've said before they want to have more stuff with Clint still, so I'm glad, because I'm like, the whole thing with, like, Clint and Cage, you want to see, like, from the comics that you see them working together, like, and you want to see that also in here. You want to see more adventures with them and working together, so, that's going to be awesome. So I hope we get season 2 of this show, because I think this one has the potential to do another season, because, there's a lot of room for other stuff they could do, like maybe more exploring a Mockingbird, and like maybe stuff with Eleanor, she's in jail, showing Clint and Kate going on other adventures, maybe some other stuff with Jack, I don't know. Potentials galore they could do with another show or season, so yeah, hopefully they do another season, so yeah. The show overall I gave an 8 out of 10. It was a very solid, really enjoyable show. So yeah, I really liked it. So yeah. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Tell me in the comment section down below, what did you all think of Hawkeye? This will definitely be my last Marvel weekly review now, Because, I mean, I said that my last one with Loki, that I'm probably not going to do any more weekly reviews after this. But then I decided, no, I really want to talk about Hawkeye weekly. And I'm definitely done after this. Like, there's going to be so many shows coming out at this point. Like, it's too much of a difficult for me to keep track of doing weekly reviews, and keep up to date. It's very tough to keep up the date with. And, like, I'm also trying to work on some other videos still right now. So, yeah, tough to do. So, yeah. So I'm not gonna do any more weekly reviews like when other shows come out. So I'll just probably do just like full reviews once the shows are done, when they come out again, like Moon Knight and She-Hulk and Miss Marvel. So yeah, so this is, I promise, my last Marvel weekly review. Hopefully, imagine if I just change my mind like a few months time, like nah, let's do another one. But no, I'm pretty sure this will definitely be my last one, like, for sure. So yeah. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Let me know what you thought of Hawkeye down below in this episode also. So yeah. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys all later. And Merry Christmas. Goodbye. Hey, if you like that video, guess what? YouTube put out a video just for you on the left. Or, if you want to take my advice, watch the most recent video on the right. Thanks for watching.